Okay, cool. So we learned this new thing, and now we're just going to practice it a bunch of times. So here is the first one we're going to do. And these, after a while, these become so routine, you'll just know what the steps are immediately. So the first step often is to get it so that you only have something with the term x on it or with the variable term on it. Um, you might consider other ways to do it, but to me, this is the easiest way is to get rid of this value first, and then we'll get rid of the value in front of x next. So what do we need to do? We need to get rid of that 8. So the only thing that's going to turn that into a 0 is if we subtract 8 on this side. And if we subtract 8 from this side, then we also need to subtract 8 for the other side in order for these statements to continue to be equivalent. We're just shifting both sides over. So the math on the left-hand side is easy because we intended for this to become 0. And then we just need to do the math on the right-hand side. And it's 9. 17 minus 8 is 9. And we're not quite done yet. Now we need to get rid of this 3 in front of x. And again, the way of thinking about this is not how can I turn this into a 0, because that would change the problem entirely. I want to change this 3 into a 1 so that I'm just left with 1x. And so the only thing that's going to change this 3 into a 1 is if I multiply it by 1/3, because 3 over 3 equals 1, right? So that's what I'm going to use for my C value. C is going to be equal to 1/3. And if I do something on the left-hand side, then I have to do it on the right-hand side. So I'm going to need to multiply 9 times C, or basically 9 times 1/3. And that's where I will wind up with 3. So 1 times x equals 3, therefore x equals 3. And that's the solution. I can check it. Three times 3 plus 8 equals 17. Again, this is like a checking thing, so sometimes I'll put a question mark because it's not telling me that this is true. It's just saying go and find if this is true. 3 times 3 equals 9, plus 8 equals 17. And that's probably good enough to make yourself very confident that this is true. You don't need to like write 17 equals 17 and that's true. That's probably good enough. This is a simple enough mathematical expression to evaluate for. Let's do another one. Let's do another 2. Not going to do as many intermediate steps going through. So if it's too fast and you need to stop the video, pause the video, rewind the video, please do so. But do these with me, or try them by yourself first and then go back and see if what you did is the same. Minus 4a. I need to add a 7 on this side to get rid of the 7. And I need to add a 7 on this side to make the statements equivalent. 1 plus 7. So this is my shorthand version of what we've been doing. Negative 4a. It's not x anymore. Now this time the variable is a, equals 8. Now I want to get rid of the negative 4. And don't forget about the negative part. So to get rid of the negative 4 and change it to a positive 1, I need to make sure to incorporate negative times negative equals positive idea. So if I multiplied a negative 1/4 to a negative 4, then I also need to do a negative 1/4 to the 8 on the other side. And basically, we know that's going to cancel out and give us a 1. The two negatives are going to change it into a positive. And so the math on this side, don't forget the negative. I say that like a million times because when I was taking math, I often forgot little things like that and would lose some points, not all points. Teachers are more or less fair when it comes to that, but the sign thing becomes really important. So start getting in the habit of just remembering which sign it is, because there's a big difference between a negative and a positive number. But at any rate, we wind up with a equals -2. That is the solution. We can go back and check the solution. -4 times -2 minus 7 equals 1 question mark. Yeah, I think so. 8 minus 7 equals 1. I think that checks out. All right. Last but not least, again, maybe you've done these two with me in the video and I'm moving at a good pace for you to just do it with me at the same time. For this one, actually pause the video here. Try it and then see if it compares. So pause. All right. And then we come back and we'll see if you were correct or not. 5y, subtract 1 from both sides. Minus 1. 5y equals 1. 1 over 5. 5y equals 1 over 5 times 1. So y must equal 1/5. And we'll check our work. 5 times 1/5. Now we're plugging in the y that we found. Plus 1 equals 2? Question mark. Yeah, I think so. 1 plus 1 does in fact equal 2. And that's like the beginning of this intermediate algebra stuff. The next video, we're going to start looking at more complicated equivalencies to evaluate for, where we're going to have to do some manipulations combining like terms.